Wait, did your favorite snack just vanish into thin air? Well, you're not imagining things. This April of 2025, some of our go-to grocery goodies are going to pull a disappearing act, and fast. Whether it's due to supply chain shakeup, seasonal shifts, or soaring demand, these items are flying off the shelves like it's Black Friday in the snack aisle. But before we get to it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we're going to be uploading more videos about the items that you might not find in the coming days. So before you're left staring at an empty shelf and whispering, "Why didn't I grab it when I had the chance?" Let's dive into the 7 grocery items that are disappearing fast from stores this April of 2025. Spoiler alert, you'll want to stock up yesterday. Number 7, powdered drink mixes. You remember the drill. You rip open one of those neon-colored pouches, you dump the mystery powder into a pitcher, stir like a mad scientist, and voila, instant sugary magic. Lemonade, fruit punch, electric blue sports drinks, you name it. It was childhood in a cup, but let's be honest, when was the last time you actually bought one? Turns out powdered drink mixes are piecing out of grocery store shelves and fast, like vanish before April ends fast. But why the sudden exit? Well, today's shoppers are all about clean eating and natural vibes, and let's be real, those little packets are more science lab than smoothie bar. Artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners. Yeah, back in the 90s, we didn't blink at a drink that looked like it could glow in the dark, but now? Not so much. According to a 2024 Food Navigator survey, millennials and Gen Z are giving powdered mixes the side eye and reaching for fancier, more natural options instead. Think cold-pressed juices, organic hydration drinks, and ready-to-sip goodies with actual fruit, electrolytes, and names that you can pronounce. And don't even get us started on the functional drink craze. Kombucha, vitamin water, adaptogenic teas. It's a whole new beverage world out there. And suddenly, powdered fruit punch is the flip phone of drinks. Remember those little drink mix packets that we used to stash in our backpacks, our gym bags, and our desk drawers? You just rip them, pour them, stir them, and voila. You get instant lemonade, fruit punch, or tropical blast. But these once beloved convenience sips might be heading for the endangered species list. Let's talk about the truth. First up, the environmental elephant in the room. Those little single-use plastic pouches, yeah, they're basically the opposite of what an eco-conscious consumer wants right now. As brands hustle to cut down on waste, refillable glass bottle and zero-waste drink options are still in the spotlight. Meanwhile, powdered mixes are kind of stuck in the plastic past. But wait, there's more. Enter the rise of the DIY drink revolution. Thanks to TikTok, Instagram, and your overly creative cousin who makes everything from scratch now, people are really getting into mixing their own drinks at home. We're talking fresh fruit-infused waters, homemade electrolyte boosters, energy teas with zero weird chemicals, just good vibes and real ingredients. And the best part? Making fresh lemonade with actual lemons takes about the same effort as stirring a powder, but tastes a million times better. So, is this the final straw for powdered drink mixes? It's looking that way. Between the shift toward healthier ingredients, a push for sustainable packaging, and the explosion of DIY drink culture, these pantry staples might soon be relics of the early 2000s. So if you're still loyal to your tasty fruit punch packet, now may be the time to stock up, because before long, those crinkly little pouches could be nothing more than a nostalgic memory. Number 6, box cake mixes. If you were surprised when powdered drink mixes started vanishing, get ready. Box cake mixes are next on the chopping block. Yeah, those little boxes of instant cake magic that used to save us during last-minute birthdays and bake sales, they're slowly disappearing. And honestly, it kind of tracks. People are moving away from the artificial stuff and realizing that baking from scratch, it's not nearly as hard as it once seemed. Let's be real. There was a time where we all just kind of accepted that some mystery powder, a bit of oil, and one sad egg could turn into a bakery-level cake. Now we're all a bit more skeptical, asking questions like, wait, why does this thing not expire for 2 years? And what even is sodium stearoyl lactylate? Yeah. And the real cake mix killer? Social media. TikTok and Instagram turned regular folks into home baking pros overnight. One viral video, and suddenly everyone's making light, fluffy cakes from scratch like it's no big deal. Who needs a boxed mix when you can whip up a 5-ingredient cake that looks straight out of a fancy Paris bakery? Plus, let's not forget the brag factor. There's nothing quite like pulling that homemade cake out of the oven and casually dropping the, oh, I just threw it together. Box cake mixes, they're starting to feel a little meh. Another reason the box cake mixes are barely hanging on are that people actually care what's in their food now. A lot of those mixes are packed with preservatives, artificial flavors, and a bunch of ingredients that sound more like a chemistry experiment than a dessert. And in a world where folks are reading ingredient labels like crime scene investigators, that's kind of a red flag. More and more people are reaching for organic, gluten-free, vegan, or allergy-friendly options, and the old-school mixes aren't cutting it anymore. Also, let's be honest, homemade cakes just taste way better. Box cake has that weirdly familiar, kind of bland taste. Like childhood birthdays, but not quite in a good way. It's more meh than memorable. But when you bake from scratch with real fresh ingredients, the flavor's richer, the texture's better, and you don't get that, is this vanilla or just sweet air aftertaste? And don't even get me started on store-bought desserts leveling up. These days, you can just stroll into a bakery or even a grocery store and walk out with a cupcake that looks like it came off a cooking show set. With all these fancy ready-made options out there, people are like, why bother with a mix when I can just pick something up that's gorgeous and delicious without lifting a finger? Now, even for folks who do love baking, box mixes just aren't hitting the same anymore. I mean, if you're already committing to baking, wouldn't you rather go all in and whip something up from scratch? It's a chance to show off a little, try a new recipe, and feel like a total kitchen boss. At this point, box cake mixes are starting to feel like a throwback to the 1950s, right up there with Jell-O salads and canned meatloaf. Unless these brands seriously revamp their recipes to match today's health-conscious, label-reading crowd, they may disappear completely. Who knows? We could be saying goodbye for good in April of 2025. So if you're still ride or die for box cake mixes, maybe stock up while you can. In a few years, they may be as rare as finding a second slice of cake that doesn't come with a side of guilt. Number 5, instant gravy packets. Now, if box cake mixes are getting the boot, you know that instant gravy packets are next in line. For years, those little powdery packets have been a go-to for busy families. You just add water, stir, and boom, dinner's complete. But let's be real. People are starting to look at the ingredient list and thinking, what even is this stuff? Between the sky-high sodium, weird thickeners, and preservatives with names that sound straight out of a chemistry textbook, instant gravy's charm is fading pretty fast. And it turns out, making gravy from scratch, not as scary as we once thought. Thanks to TikTok, Instagram, and all those home cooks showing off their easy-peasy techniques, whipping up real gravy is basically a kitchen flex now. All you need is a little butter, some flour, and the drippings from whatever you just cooked. Give it a whisk, and bam, you've got a rich, flavorful gravy without those mystery ingredients. But hey, if scratch made still feels like too much effort, grocery stores have your back. More and more stocking fresh, ready-to-heat gravies in the refrigerated section. They taste better, have cleaner ingredients, and none of that powdery weirdness that you get from a mix. Like, why mess with a packet when you could just grab a real-deal gravy made with actual stock and legit seasoning? Another reason that those gravy packets are on their way out, they're just kind of boring. Most of them come in the same tired flavors. Brown, turkey, chicken, maybe mushroom if they're feeling wild, but today's home cooks, they want options. They're out here experimenting with garlic-infused gravies, spicy twists, even mayo-based versions packed with umami. And let's be honest, powdered mixes aren't exactly built for that kind of flavor adventure. As more people focus on quality ingredients and getting creative in the kitchen, instant gravy packets are starting to feel like a thing of the past. Whether folks are whisking up their own or grabbing one of those fancy store-bought gravies, one thing's for sure, those little dusty packets are on borrowed time. So if you're still hanging on to your go-to instant gravy mix, maybe stash a couple away for the memories, because pretty soon, they're about as rare as someone who actually keeps their gravy off their mashed potatoes. Number 4, canned fruit cocktail. If instant gravy packets are on their way out, it's no shock that canned fruit cocktail is circling the drain as well. Let's be real. When was the last time you actually craved a bowl of fruit cocktail? You know, that syrupy mix of mushy peaches, pears, and that one lonely and sad maraschino cherry all swimming in a weirdly shiny sugar bath. Well, back in the day, it was the ultimate convenience food. A quick way to feel like you were eating healthy without actually doing much. But now that fresh, colorful, organic produce is everywhere, that little sad can doesn't really stand a chance. And the main culprit? Syrup. Oh, that sweet, thick, suspicious goo that turns fruit into something closer to a dessert that you didn't ask for. According to Eat This, Not That, people are ditching the syrup-soaked fruit in favor of fresh or frozen options that actually taste like, fruit. Why settle for peaches that have been soaking in sugar water for a year when you could bite into a juicy, ripe one straight from the fridge? Even when brands try to clean up their act with the whole packed in 100% juice thing, it was kind of too little too late. The damage was already done. People moved on to pre-cut fruit blends in the produce aisle, smoothie packs in the freezer, and those cute little fruit cups that actually feel modern. Opening a can now? It feels like flipping through an old recipe book that suggests Jell-O molds and canned ham. Cute for nostalgia, just not lunch. Another reason that canned fruit cocktail is on its way out? Well, it's forever tied to those SAG cafeteria lunches. We've all been there. The little plastic fruit cups that are filled with mushy, beigeish mixes of those mystery fruits, and again, the sad cherry that you'd swear was a prize, but it never really tasted like anything. Yeah, for many, canned fruit cocktails are a throwback to Jell-O molds, Grandma's special ambrosia salad, and those 1950s cookbooks that thought mayonnaise was an acceptable dessert ingredient. Today's food trends, not so much. Modern consumers are all about fresh, natural ingredients and as little processing as possible. And canned fruit cocktail, they don't fit the vibe anymore. Meanwhile, social media is overflowing with fresh fruit bowls, smoothie bowls, and DIY fruit salads that actually look good enough to eat. When you're seeing acai bowls that are topped with fresh berries and coconut flakes all over your feed, it's really hard to get excited about a can of Dykes pears from 2002. Even if nostalgia could save fruit cocktail, there's a bigger issue now: environmental concerns. Canned goods take a lot of energy to produce, and with everyone getting more conscious about sustainability, people are buying more fresh, local, and unpackaged foods. That means fewer people are reaching for cans and opting for things that don't come with all that metal. At this point, canned fruit cocktail might go the way of the Jell-O mold that it used to be served with, unless brands find a way to reinvent it, maybe with fancy exotic fruit blends or something healthier and more natural. It's probably going to be gone for good. So if you're feeling sentimental about that syrupy cafeteria fruit, well, maybe grab a can while you can. By April of 2025, it may be as hard to find as a fruit cocktail that actually had enough cherries in it to count. Number 3, processed cheese slices. If canned fruit cocktails get in the boot, then brace yourselves, because processed cheese slices are next on the chopping block. You know those bright yellow, perfectly square cheese slices that wrapped up every childhood sandwich in gooey, melty goodness? Well, those are slowly being phased out, and honestly, it might be about time. The world's stepping up its cheese game, and those flimsy plastic wrap slices just can't hang with the real high-quality stuff anymore. Let's be real here. Processed cheese, it's not even real cheese, at least not all the way. It's a mix of milk, oil, emulsifiers, and some cheese-like substances that come together to make a rubbery, shelf-stable square that melts a little too perfectly. Sure, it was the hero of a grilled cheese sandwich and those late-night microwave nacho binges, but in today's food-conscious world, it feels like a blast from the past. Consumers are way more label-savvy now, and when they see words like sodium citrate and modified food starch, they're not exactly thinking gourmet. According to the New York Times, younger generations are ditching overly processed foods for fresh, natural, and artisanal options. In other words, if your cheese needs a science degree to understand, people are over it. Now, social media is making its mark here too. Just like boxed cake mixes and instant gravy, processed cheese is being swapped out for real food trends that are blowing up online. People are searching for authentic flavors, and those Instagram-worthy cheese boards, they're not made of individually wrapped slices. That's for sure. And let's not forget about the rise of vegan cheese. As more folks go plant-based, processed cheese isn't just competing with fancy dairy options. It's also losing ground to dairy-free cheeses. Brands are offering cashew-based bries, almond milk cheddar, and even meltable vegan mozzarella that some say tastes better and fits into modern food trends. So whether you're going dairy-free or just trying to eat cleaner, processed cheese is definitely losing its crown. Look, nostalgia's strong, and processed cheese isn't going to disappear overnight. It'll probably stick around in some households for a little while longer, but as people demand better, more natural, and flavorful food, these plastic-wrapped squares are definitely on borrowed time. By April of 2025, they might be as hard to find as that can of fruit cocktail that you're not sure why your grandma keeps stashed away at the back of the fridge. Number 2, hydrogenated oils. If processed cheese slices are fading away, hydrogenated oil is going to get kicked to the curb even faster. For years, hydrogenated oils were the secret ingredient behind flaky pastries, crispy fries, and those shelf-stable cookies that we all love to snack on. They even made everything taste amazing and last forever, quite literally. From fast food chains to packaged snacks, hydrogenated oils were everywhere. They were praised for their ability to give foods a longer shelf life, stability at room temperature, and that incredibly irresistible crispy texture. But here's the thing, that long shelf life, well, it came at a hefty price tag. These oils are packed with trans fats, which are now known to be a leading culprit in the rise of heart disease, inflammation, and other chronic health issues. Trans fats have been linked to raised bad cholesterol, or LDL levels, and lower good cholesterol, or HDL, which makes them a serious concern for health experts. And let's be real, when the FDA bans something outright, you know it's not exactly a healthy food. Back in 2018, the US banned partially hydrogenated oils, which were the main source of trans fats in food. This was a big win for public health, and food manufacturers had to scramble to find an alternative. In response, many companies started to replace partially hydrogenated oils with alternatives like palm oil, sunflower oil, or soybean oil. It's still processed oils, but without the trans fats. However, here's the kicker. Even though the partially hydrogenated oils got the boot, their sneaky cousin, fully hydrogenated oils, have still stuck around in some processed foods. Fully hydrogenated oils don't contain trans fats, but they do still pose a health concern, like containing high levels of saturated fats, which can raise cholesterol levels. For now anyway, these oils are still lurking in some snacks, also in some baked goods and other processed foods, but not for much longer. By April of 2025, we're expecting these bad boys to be under serious scrutiny, and they'll likely get phased out completely as the war against trans fats continues to heat up. One of the biggest reasons that hydrogenated oils were used in everything, well, they kept food from spoiling. That's why your grandma's cookies from 1998 still look suspiciously fresh, and why those processed snacks sat on shelves for months without going bad. The chemical process of hydrogenating oils makes them solidify at room temperature and gives them a longer shelf life. But today's consumers, well, they look for fresher, cleaner ingredients, even if it means a shorter shelf life. With the rise of organic, non-GMO, and minimally processed foods, the demand for clean labels is stronger than ever. People want to know what's in their food, and hydrogenated oils, they don't just pass the test. We don't need Franken oils to keep our snacks from getting stale anymore. In fact, the clean eating movement has made many people more aware of the importance of natural fats, like those found in avocados, nuts, even coconut oil. As consumers become more educated about food ingredients, they're rejecting the processed junk in favor of ingredients that don't require a chemistry degree to understand. Health-conscious shoppers are prioritizing fats that are less chemically altered, like olive oil, avocado oil, and grass-fed butter. Now, these fats are not only seen as healthier, but they're also natural, making them more appealing to the growing segment of consumers who are trying to clean up their diet. And let's not forget the increased demand for plant-based options. With so many people moving toward a plant-based, vegan, or flexitarian diet, many food companies are shifting toward alternatives that align with these choices. Ingredients like avocado oil and coconut oil are now seen as trendy, healthy options, while hydrogenated oil is now viewed as outdated and unnecessary. So if you've got a pack of old-school cookies sitting in your pantry that were made with hydrogenated oils, you may want to check the expiration date, or better yet, just let them go. Because by April of 2025, this once popular ingredient will be as outdated as a Blockbuster membership card. The bottom line, people are waking up to the dangers of trans fats and artificial additives, and hydrogenated oils are just one casualty of the food revolution. With consumers demanding better ingredients, companies are quickly moving to cleaner, healthier alternatives, and that is something we can all get behind. Number 1, margarine. Remember when margarine was the king of breakfast tables? That yellow tub of buttery goodness was in every American household, slathered on toast, mixed into mashed potatoes, and baked into grandma's famous cookies. Well, guess what? Margarine, it's slowly fading from grocery shelves, and honestly, it's about time. Why? Because people are getting a lot smarter about what they eat. Over the years, margarine has been exposed as a highly processed artificial butter wannabe that used to be loaded with trans fats, the kind of stuff that clogs arteries and messes with heart health. Even though today's versions don't have trans fats anymore, the damage to its reputation has already been done. Let's be real, who wants to spread something on their toast when half the ingredients sound like they came straight from a chemistry lab? Meanwhile, real butter is making a major comeback. More and more people are ditching the fake stuff in favor of grass-fed butter, ghee, or even plant-based spreads made from cashews, coconut, or avocado. Why? Well, because they're simple, natural, and let's face it, they just taste way better. Plus, with the rise of gourmet cooking, you won't catch a self-respecting chef reaching for margarine when they could be using rich, creamy butter instead. Did you know that margarine was originally created as a butter substitute for Napoleon III's army in the 1860s? Yeah, the French emperor wanted a cheaper alternative to butter for his troops, so scientists whipped up an artificial spread. Fast forward a century, and somehow margarine became the healthier choice over butter, until science proved otherwise. These days, food-conscious shoppers are all about short ingredient lists, natural fats, and fewer processed foods. Unfortunately for margarine, it doesn't fit the bill anymore. It's been branded as a cheap, outdated, and overly processed alternative, with plant-based stuff and alternatives offering cleaner labels and sustainability perks. Margarine is seriously struggling to keep up. So if you're a margarine fan, you may want to stock up now, because by April of 2025, it could be as hard to find as that perfect avocado. Ripe, but not too ripe. And there you have it. 8 grocery staples on their way out before April of 2025. From processed cheese to canned soups, shifting health trends, cleaner ingredients, and sustainability are reshaping what we buy. While some of these may spark nostalgia, the food world, it's evolving fast. Will you miss them, or are you already on board with the change? Drop your thoughts, share with your friends, and stay tuned, because who knows what's going to disappear next.